Today's project, I've decided to do something I can make some significant headway on rather than getting bogged down like I did with that vent. Is this area here, this wall adjacent to the bathroom, needs to have the Rockwood soundproof insulation reinstalled. We had pulled it down to do some framing, and I wanted to get that reinstalled so when Steve's ready to close this nook up, put in our pantry cabinets and our refrigerator, this wall's all set. So the only part that's a little sketchy is right here where you had to put this back wall in this bay right here. You had to put some blocking so he could connect it. So I pulled all the insulation out so he could get to it. So that's something I want to re-insulate and get that all set. That's a fairly easy, straightforward job. Just a matter of cutting pieces to fit in there. And I will have to make note that this area here is the blocking for the grab rail in the bathroom. So I'll make a measurement. I think I've already transferred the lines across to them beams so I know where the high and the low point is. So that way when we go to put a grab rail on the inside of the bathroom, we can see exactly where we can fasten it to something that's rigid and solid. So this area here, I'm going to insulate this and get this all taken care of. This is straightforward, quick and easy job. So I'm going to get that started. This wall that I just insulated is between the pantry area and the bathroom. So because it's connected to the kitchen, we decided that we wanted to have some soundproofing. So any of the activities going in either room will be just restricted to the room that they're going on in. So we won't have any transfer of noise to either place. And it provides a certain amount of quietness to the areas so you feel more private. Now what we have here is this is the PEX water line that goes up to the ice maker. And then this is the power supply for the refrigerator. Now these are penetrations down here in the sole plate that goes down through the floor to let these wires come up from the crawl space. So that's a potential entry point for cold air and vermin, such as beetles, bugs, ants, or what have you. So I'm going to take some little pieces of insulation and I'm going to just kind of stop these up so it's no longer a point of entry for anything like that. So this will close up any drafts or air that we might get in here. So just taking a screwdriver with a small tip and just kind of coaxing it down inside of there to give it a seal up that point. So I'm just taking little pieces of insulation, gently pushing them in, I'm being careful not to push on the wire. So just keep working little pieces in there until it feels like it's, you know, stopped up. So that's always that's a small little detail that sometimes people miss, is you leave penetrations open, and that can allow cold air, bugs, or moisture into your wall. So it's not a hard thing to do. It's just you have to have your eyes peeled for any small entry points that you might have missed. And that can also include like right here, this crack in the floor. But this is just the crack between the sole plate of this wall and this plywood in the subfloor. You got to leave a little bit of room, so in case the materials expand or contract, they have somewhere to go. Otherwise they'll buckle. So this looks like it's pretty well stopped up. So I'm going to stop there, and now I'm going to get around this PEX water pipe. This stuff here is just some thin set that's stuck to the pipe. I'm not going to bother trying to poke it off. It's not going to hurt anything. So I'll just get a little piece of insulation started in there and just kind of give that a little bit of, seal that up a little bit. I wouldn't use expandable foam in there because that might have enough pressure to close up the pipe a little bit. So I'll just work a little piece of fiberglass in there, and that should be sufficient. Then I can take the pipe noodle and insulate from here up to here. This is a cold water line, so if we have a hot, humid day, we could get a little moisture condensing on that pipe. So there we go. So that's all sealed up. So this isn't a very hard process. So all I do is put this noodle in the area I want it, kind of figure out where it's going to stop, right about there. You give it a snip, and there's a little split on it to get it in there. So I just put it over there like this, and that effectively will insulate it. Next on my agenda is to close out this piece of wall to the right of the beam for the pantry. So I took some measurements and I transferred them onto this board, and I put a little X so I know where I need to cut, because this is somewhat of an irregular shape, and that coincides with, if you look at these edges, you see how some of them are in and some of them are out. So it's not a straight shot. So I'm going to try and match it up as best I can, so it'll be like a little puzzle piece. So I'm going to I marked this out. I'm going to take this downstairs and cut it with the saber saw, and we'll see how it looks. This piece lined up pretty good. I had to notch it for the different areas of the planks, how they were irregular, but it fits in here pretty good. And now I'm going to just fasten it in. So this has been successfully fastened to the wall. So let's just fill in the gap between the utility room and what's going to be the pantry wall. So once again, it's a smooth transition straight across. We're using 3/4 inch plywood, which matches the same as the material that's in there already. So now I just got to cut another piece to go all the way up to there, and we'll be done with this. So I'm all done with the insulation of the rock wool in the bathroom wall. This is the space between the bathroom and the pantry area. And I also closed out the wall. Up on the top there was a big gap, so I filled that in with some plywood. So that's all filled in. And I also filled in the top here where the vent pipe was, and down on through the finished off the wall. So I used 3/4 inch plywood, which is the same thickness as these planks. So this wall's all closed up in here.